Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. Thank you for continuing to journey with us into your financial wellness journey as we keep conversations live on our podcast, Financial Wellness Conversations. So today we have a guest. Believe it or not, there has been a lot of support in bringing this podcast to life. There have been a lot of people behind the scenes. So one of them has finally agreed to bring their face this side of the camera. So allow me to introduce to you Emmanuel. I will allow him to say everything else, all the other names he wants to say, but Emmanuel will be with us today. We have some interesting questions and he's going to help you see how we've gotten this far in the journey. We thank God so much for him. Karibu, Emmanuel.
Asante sana. Yes, finally they convinced me to get behind the camera. Yeah, and it's a very, very interesting thing to do. So my full names are Emmanuel Edward Douglas Andambi Santos Bibu Gwambo. Majina hayo yote ni zangu na nafurahi kuwa hapa.
Tumeshukuru. Emmanuel is challenging us to be diverse in language. This week someone challenged me on the French side, so bonjour, oui, oui. Let's see how we will grow. Karibu sana Emmanuel. Tumeshukuru that umeweza kuwa pamoja nasi and we can continue to ask you some good questions. So the first question is just to invite you. Welcome to the front of our channel. You've been at the back of this channel since inception. I'm telling you, my good people, if I tell you some of the conversations that Emmanuel has been part of, you'll just be like, what? Yeah, a lot of growth, a lot of progress, a lot of encouragement. The creativity that sometimes you think is mine has come from just shared thought processes to bring us here. So Emmanuel, how do you see our conversations growing? We're just going to go straight with the big questions and then we'll land with other thought processes.
The conversations is what I can say, because at the end of the day, this is more or less like a personal brand. And I've seen it go from a girl in her room recording her thoughts about, financial wellness to now a whole woman with a production team, with a cameraman and the crew and editors and just people behind the production. And for someone who's worked with brands, that just shows the structured growth. And that structured growth, when I now look at it, even in terms of how some of the biggest YouTubers have gone on to be, or some of the biggest online brands, you're actually ticking all the boxes because you've been consistent at it, even though we might not be having millions of views at the time, but the consistency is what shows that this is actually something that you're passionate about. And that's one of the reasons why I've been very, very passionate to work with you, is because you've shown me discipline and you've shown me that this is a client who understands that building a brand is a long-term game. So the conversation keep growing, financial wellness with Ahawo keeps growing, the structure is okay, we are ticking all the boxes, and the future is bright. I honestly see us becoming a very, very big place where people can come to learn about, financial literacy, financial wellness in Kenya and even Africa, as a whole. So the sky is the limit, Once you're online, there's really nothing that can stop you.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And it's a challenge also. So how can our viewers optimize this content and help it have greater reach? You seeing the back end of things.
I think that really goes down to us, because the viewers are ready. They want the content, and there's one thing that I think we will adjust, and I actually thought about it really just before I was preparing for this. So most social media processes or digital brand processes you post and then you forget. So you just think, so long as I have content going out, everything will be okay. But if there's something just hit me today, that how comes we have a posting strategy but we don't have an engagement strategy? Like after the posting, how do you engage with your audience? So the thing is, we now have to come up with a whole engagement strategy where Take, for example, let's take advantage of the tools that are there. We have communities, we have broadcast lists, you can send SMSs out. So anytime a clip drops, we should move from just putting it on the statuses, and can we actually get people to opt into a broadcast list on WhatsApp or any platform? And anytime an episode drops, we drop it direct to someone's inbox. So instead of just having them engage on the status, they receive it on their inbox, and then you send it at the right time. Because okay, for me, from what I've seen, most people don't like sleeping early, so late at night or very early in the morning. So that can help give you your first engagement, and that's how we can now start giving this content directly to people, because I feel you have to reach people where they are. The thing about content today is, and that's why a lot of people take so much time doom scrolling, is because the content is there and it's flawless. So I don't have to move from one platform. I just have all the creators are there. So long as I swipe up, that's it. So if we create something like that, and then also, which is something that's in the pipeline, once we get the website up and running, it will already give us our own platform that someone can access from their phone or from their laptop, and then we'll be able to have our audience and see the insights, how we're engaging with them. So for now, it's about maximizing what we have and making sure it reaches to the last person. Like, we now have to add the global factor, the last mile, from the shop, which is us, to the person's house, to them picking it up, their delivery. So yeah, once we figure out engagement and getting it to the user directly, we are game, because content is good. We've clearly seen people like it. People want to actually learn about financial wellness. So it's just keep pushing.
Wow. Kazi kwetu, viewers and all of us here behind. So another thing that we have grown into doing as Financials with Ahawo is the financial wellness workshops. So beyond just what we share on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, LinkedIn, we have just a community where we sit, especially with young women, to grow with them. So when we started, we invited you, despite being a gentleman, to be able to just see the feel, and because you understood the journey we were on. So you've done an audit, in a sense, of the financial wellness workshop. What was your key takeaway from those sessions?
I have a critique and a praise. So let me start with the critique. Mbona haijafikia watu wengi? Like being in those sessions and seeing how, and I was a bit, okay, it also sparked something in me, because I was like, a lot of women, now I understand mbona wamama mnakwanga na machama, and being in those spaces, I got to understand how comes women are very good at organizing and mobilizing, because I look at my own male circle, we actually don't have a group or a caucus where we actually sit and talk about money, or where we're going to put our money. But every weekend, your mom will go to the chamas, your girlfriends will go to the chamas, your sisters will go to chamas, and then you're just there in the house waiting to watch football, which is not a bad thing. But so I learned one thing is that mobilization and putting people with a collective mind is very important, because iron sharpens iron. You get, lazima yani mjengane, na maana unaonanga, if you look at it currently, there is such a disparity where girls have so much money, they're also employed, they're doing well, but boy child anateseka tu, yani boy child is just out here supporting. So it's a good platform. I know eventually, it's not cloaked to women. It's just that maybe that's where your first, when you're starting a brand, you look at your first inner circle. If it's full of women, then of course your clients are going to be the women. But it's a good platform. And now for the praises, as we said, we have to really push it out there. And I still think once we get to the website, it will be very, very accessible, because now anyone can access it from anywhere. So the workshops are good. They are very affordable. And me, I tell people to take it up now, because the cost of financial literacy that people are being charged out here versus what Financial to the How is giving them, the value is more than what you're actually paying for. And with time, as the brand grows, that's one thing people don't realize. The cost will have to become more expensive, because the production will become more expensive. We'll have to do more outreach. We'll have to have talks. You also have to now level up your price range and your brand. So identify this thing right now, jump on it right now, learn from it right now, because the brains that are inside this thing are just crazy. They're crazy. They're serial entrepreneurs in this. They're seasoned professionals. Like, I've met kuna wamama waerevu huko nje sana sana. So yeah, workshops ziko sawa. Mi top shot. Ayo ujui.
Nalan. Thank you. So our workshops actually are once, we'll do 6 in a year, so every other month. So the next one is in July, the next one in September, next one in November. And as Emmanuel said, we are charging 3,000 for 3 full sessions together with tools and also just the capacity to continue to have conversations with me, or if it's something I can't handle, guiding you to a professional advisor who can be able to really help you make that decision. And by God's grace, landing the year with a webinar where we can bring many minds across who can also give you deeper content. And this will first primarily be for our attendees, and then if possible, then we open it up.
Yeah, for webinars, once you've already done like the webinars where the invitees, you just leave it online, then now people can access it. So next time they'll see, guys, this is what we missed. So when you put the next webinar, they'll come. So it's just, yeah, you'll give, finally, they'll get to see it. And maybe that's when now they'll be like, this is so much impactful. So yeah, that's a good idea and something that I know will work.
Awesome. So your own financial wellness journey is very inspiring. You have a story for years. You're free to share what you want to share, what you don't want to share. The floor is yours now. Go on. We only have one more question. Je ne sais pas. See, Emmanuel ametuchallenge na language. Je ne sais pas means I don't
know. Anyway, so this is the first time I think I'm ever talking about my finances publicly. And I don't have an issue with it, because if someone else can learn from how I've structured my life, then probably they'll get to understand why it's good to have financial discipline and goals. So if I look at to answer that question, I want to break it down into one thing. And the first thing becomes, for me, my financial journey has been tied to my life goals. Like from the time when I got aware of unafaa kupanga maisha yako, I sat down and I decided what I actually want to become in this life. And I realized all those things that I want to do will need money, because we operate in a society that has money, that it's an economy, capitalism, whatever, socialism. So once I understood my life goals, that's when now I had to understand, like, how do I also get the right financial discipline to be able to achieve these goals. And my analogy starts with when I was a child. Since today now nikufungua roho. When I was a child, I understood one concept. Now when I look at it, but then I didn't get it clearly. I understood money is a means of exchange, and it's a give and take. In kitambo it was barter trade, and barter trade was limited because it had to be on a need to need basis. But now with money, you can have something I need, but I don't have something you need, but I have the money, so you'll give me what I need and I give you the money. So there's that exchange. Now when my dad alikuanga pastor, na kuna time tulikuwa tunaruhusiwa kuhesabu sadaka. Mimi nilikuwa naibaga sadaka. Sadaka, naiba sadaka, lakini si ati yani ilikuwa busy. I was not doing it ati okay, nilikuwa katu mtukutu. So nilikuwa naiba sadaka, naenda na buy sweets. And hizi sweets nakula kiasi na mabesi zangu, alafu tunaenda tunauzia watu. And why now when the thought came, I was like, cause me, I was a very curious child. Like if you remember, like nilikuwa tu mtu tu, yani curiosity. And I used to wonder, why is it that I always have to give this shopkeeper money and then he gives me something? So say, and then the way you understand what wazazi wako na pesa wanatukanga wanaenda, so like hii pesa ni kitu ya muhimu sana, mimi pia nataka hii pesa. So that is where the habit came from. And of course you couldn't ask your parents ati nisaidie pesa niende ninunue ati hii niende niuzie watu. No. So what looked as a vice was actually, when I look at it, it was a character that I wanted to actually understand how to make money. Na ni sasa nilihapo kutumia utukutu. And sometimes najiangaliaga najiuliza, ama niko na damu ya Kikuyu ndani yangu, because mimi napenda pesa. Like I can't lie. And I've always been obsessed with business and things that are related to money and anything. Hata kama ni sports, what's the business side of it? Kama ni podcast, what's the business side of it? And I think I even shared something with you with regards to that. So once I understood that concept, that money is a value for exchange. Then now that's when I was now sitting and doing my life goals, I now told myself, what do I want to be? And me, I told, and what I wanted to be was also influenced by where I grew up around. I've grown up around entrepreneurs, I've grown around professionals, and I've grown around now my parents. So from the entrepreneur, I learned one thing called delayed gratification. It's even where we are doing the interview right now. Like when we came first to this house, if you remember, like it was very, very derelict. And if you had looked at the journey where we came from South B, to Kenda Westlands, we've circulated around Nairobi. You understand that building wealth takes time. So the entrepreneurs in the family showed me how Womokangi wants. Like you don't just wake up tomorrow and you're rich. There are days where you'll actually lack. And in those days that you lack, you should not feel like you'll be broke forever. No, like so long as you keep working towards that goal, you'll actually get to achieve it. So the entrepreneur told me delayed gratification, and this thing has actually come to bite me even before, because previously I was very open with my money, like I was very generous. Nilikuwa ule mtu unaitanga wa 2k kindly. Kutaka 2k kindly unapigia Emmanuel. And at the time my cousin used to criticize me when we were in campus. Wewe kazi yako tu kutumia kuenda kupatia watu pesa na wasichana pesa, lakini mimi kazi yako niko hapa tu nilikuwa jiko tu alikuwa kwea. Hata mimi sijaona pesa kama like. But so now when I came to become more wiser, and I realized some of those 2Ks that I was spending, if I had put them somewhere else, they would have actually compounded something, which I started doing. And then now, Christian, you're a stingy man. So I went from being
2K kindly.
2K kindly to stingy man. And I'm very proud of it, because you see, the stingy madness will eventually come to pay off. Because sasa nikienda huko mbele na niomoke, mkiniomba hata 1 million ndawapea. Because mi ani bado hiyo roho iko. So I learned that first thing is, from the entrepreneur, I learned about delayed gratification. Then from the professional, I learned about skills. So the skills are what you actually need to achieve your life goals. So I remember one of my employers was also my friend, anaitwa Agri Bimbo, very nice guy. This guy, one day he was like, wewe kwani hakuna kitu juu, wewe Canva umeiva, graphic design, editing umeiva, mambo ya computer umeiva, like you're one business in one. But then, looking back, them they couldn't understand. I was building the skills that I needed based on what I know I wanted to do with my life. Unaona? And then finally, to my parents, they just taught me one thing. When you have chaos, you have to have structure. So my dad was like, yeah, woo, mtu wa watu. Then our mom was more of, a toned down person and someone who had structure. And that made me realize that's why one of my best guiding principles in life is yin yang. You have to have a balance between the dark side and the good side, and it rotates. So if you strike those two, it now helps you get the discipline. So yes, you can have all work and no play, and you can also have play but work. So that balance. So those 3 lessons were very important for me, and now this is how they shaped my financial goals. So once I understood what I wanted to do, which was entrepreneurship, and I listed there are 10 industries that I want to get into, and I told myself my goal, I want to become a billionaire. That's what I know I'm going to do. So I said, which industries have projections to reach billions by this year? And the data is out there. These are things you just validate. So I looked at them and I listed them down. Then all of them, I registered businesses for them. So that way I've protected. Now you see, this is where going to law school helped. I protected all my legal rights. So these are companies that no one can take. I went ahead and bought the domains for the website, so no one can go and take the domains. So these are assets that I've had. I'm paying for this. These companies are not making money, but you're building them one step at a time. So I have like 10 children, but sasa najenga mtoto mmoja, alafu huyo mwingine, alafu huyo mwingine, alafu huyo mwingine. So now from this point, I realized, how do I finance this goal? Now that's where the financial literacy came. And you are very instrumental in that, because you're the person who made me realize what the stock market is and how to play in it. And after stopping the 2K kindlies, I have been on a journey of silently throwing money into my portfolio. And I can say I had to come to that point and realize, if I want to get to a B, I must for the first 35 years of my life, of my 20s to 35, I will suffer. I won't be able to buy a car. I won't be able to, live that large life. You're seeing your friends are going out, but you have to understand, mi najua jani yangu. So mtu atakuona bado uko kwa matatu, uko kwa Uber, nasema huyu na hii akili yote hajui in the background. Sasa nikikufungulia portfolio yangu utakuwa like mtu ako you get. And so now I learned the first thing is put your money where it can compound. What was the cheapest and easiest thing that I could afford? Because you see also, like me, I was more or less into, biashara, so utapata katuke, kwa kutenda kuna miezi ya utapata do. So I took all that and had that discipline. The other day I was going to look at my portfolio, I was like, wow, yani, huu ni mimi, stingy, if you only you knew stingy man is rich man, but he's still choosing to act stingy, which I think goes back to my I think I have Kikuyu, blood, because wala unasoga unakufa ndio watu wanajua huyu mtu alikuwa na hizi vitu zote. Yeah, so my primary investment vehicle has been the stock market, and recently I diversified and started buying like now fractionals in the global market. So I see it, I research, find which companies make sense. Then I always invest based on an industry's projection, like would this industry tie to this industry and how will that industry grow. So currently, I think I've added a bit of tech stocks because we're in that, the new gold rush is the tech rush. And everyone is like, oh, it will crash. It won't crash, because at the end of the day, you'll need more computing. If you want to go to space, you need computing. If you want to have enough satellites and all these things that people are doing, you'll need more computing power. Because even now with AI and people wanting to use it, you just need more computing power. So computers will just grow. So that's how I normally analyze it. And then to summarize all this, I can summarize it in two Swahili quotes. Mchumia juani, ulia kivulini. So it might look like you're not getting ahead in life. It might look like you're behind in life. But if you have that plan and that goal and you know what you're working to, eventually utalia kivulini. Utakuwa kwa hiyo Porsche yako, utakuwa kwa hiyo mansion yako, you'll travel the world. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people should just understand. Watu wanakuanga na hii mentality ati ndakufa kesho, acha rajipe wenyewe, acha ni enjoy life. But everyone can actually become a billionaire. It's like very possible if you just understand how to compound your money. So imagine kama ungelearn hii kitu ukiwa 14. Hiyo pocket money unapewa uanze kusave. Ina compound, juu ukiweka kwa stocks ina grow. Hizi si vitu ati zinalalisha. Na kitu compound, of course, simple mathematics, it grows. So kama ulianza na 10k yako labda sasa imefika 100k yako by the time ukue 50, bala kuretire na pesa ya NSSF, una retire na stock portfolio imekujenga hata wewe mwenyewe unashangaa aje. So that's that. And then finally, I think the thing that I learned was haba na haba hujaza kibaba. So the 2k kindly moved to the portfolio, haba. Then currently it's transitioning and now financing. Now the companies, because also timing. As I told you, from the entrepreneurs, I learned one thing. You have to wait for the right time. Unajua saa zingine unaweza kuwa na haraka unataka kuanzisha kampuni, but it wasn't right, especially for me. My companies, I felt they were very tech based, so I tried some of them and they failed, and I realized the time was not ready. But now with the AI bubble, it's ripe, because everyone is online. People have access to online, because most of the platforms that I'm going to release are online based. So naona sasa the market is ready for it. So also that's where delayed gratification is good, and patience, and haba na haba. Everything doesn't have to happen at once. And yeah, so to summarize a whole story short, the thing is this: the life goal is like when you see your short crashy. Like for me, I have this short crashy. That's like an analogy. So there's this short crashy. So short crashy, at first it was a fictional character that I would put out there, and people are like, oh, you have a girlfriend. I just like throwing. I'm a funny guy. Oh, you have a girlfriend, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I might have a crush on some. I might have a crush on a short girl somewhere. But the point is, even that short girl, if you don't shoot your shot, you will never get a yes or a no. So back to financial literacy. If you don't learn if you don't teach yourself about money,
you will never learn how to make money. And money is such a thing that money that has no limit. Ukitakata gazillion, ndio maana unaona sahii watu washafika trillion. 30 years ago, do you think we would have told someone they would have been a trillionaire in this world? They would have said, hakuna kitu natuambia. You get? But it's possible. And that's one thing that I hold on to. And some point, I'm delusional. But I told myself, if there's someone in this world who is a trillionaire, if there's someone in this continent like Dangote who is considered the richest man,
Go be your friends.
yes, go work, yeah, Dangote go be my friend, yeah, Otedola go be your guy, yeah. So you see, it's the things like that. So understand what you want in life, build upon it, get the right skills for it, be patient and work through it. Don't be too much of a hurry, because at the end of the day, you're not dying tomorrow. I don't know, this notion that you don't have limited time in this world, and you don't even know when you're going to die. So don't let certain things hold you back from enjoying the best you can be, and always dream big and be delusional and believe in your dreams, and don't be afraid to go for them, and realize one thing: money is a means of exchange. Understand it, understand how it works, understand how to exchange that value, and eventually you'll get the most out of it. And finally, on the road to going to where you're going, there will be good days and there will be bad days. You'll step on people's feet, they'll step on your feet. You'll let people down, they will let you down. Emotional intelligence. So to sum my whole financial wellness journey up, first, I had my life goal. I know what I want in life, I'm working towards it. Secondly, I understood what money is, how it operates, what is capital, accounting and everything. Thirdly, I had to ensure that I am growing as a person, getting my emotional intelligence in check, so that as I grow, the problems are going to be more. Sai, wewe uko na production team ya maybe less than 10. You'll get to a point you have a production team of 100. And then also one thing is, realize that if you're ever building something, you build, especially for business people, you're literally now a parent. Right now, I have in my head, I'm like, at some point I'll have to hire. I already have co-founders, and I have to think, we have to start making money, because these people need to start getting salaries. They have bills to pay. Eventually, I'll have to hire people. They have families that need to be fed. So you also have to understand that concept of, when you're growing emotional intelligence, is to help you to now deal with that and realize, nimeacha hizi jokes, mi ni mzazi, kuna mafamilia zinaniangalia, na if I fail on this journey, a lot of people behind me are going to fail, or those who would have relied on this business. And that's about it, about my financial life journey.
Hey, thank you. We've also gotten some confessions. I'm trying to remember those sweets. Sijui kata mimi nilikula.
Wewe nilikupea kwanza, wewe ndio ulilibas tukaniseti.
Lazima.
Mzee, business was booming. Me and my boys got quiet. South Beat ulikuwa kusema. Unaenda unanisema.
You are stealing from God.
God mwenye akunipani. God kwanza nililetea customers. Alafu wewe kuangusha biashara na inajengwa na pesa kali. Sio biashara, the financial foundation of God.
No. And I actually remember when Emmanuel was sharing, remember with the stocks, because the way our age gap is interesting, that our academic age gap and our birth age gap is not the same. So by the time I was in campus, Emmanuel was in high school. And by then I started learning about stocks and shares. So I used to finya pocket money. I tell him, bring, we put here. Bring, we put pocket money here. Yeah, and as he said, I wish I knew those 2K kindly days. When he went to higher education, I left him. I would have continued. I would be reaping royalties.
Tumekuwa mbali. Sai.
Yeah, but we would really, if I could find those places, because I used to write, like I have, maybe it's even in this big book, come to think of it. I used to write, like, this is Emmanuel's money, this is my money, this is Drew's money, this is like that. Yeah,
Sababu
it's a
uko na
journey.
pesa yako ya sijui.
Nilikurudisha pesa zako zote na pesa ya mtu. I don't have anybody's money. Yeah, so we really appreciate you and we thank you for making time. We know this is the first but not the last time.
Yeah.
We'll hear from you and we speak a blessing over you for how you have blessed us and may God bless you. So how can we connect with you? Also like for people to connect with you also beyond this and our funny
as
stories.
you connect with me, my primary playground is LinkedIn, because most of the other socials I just monitor them. But LinkedIn, Emmanuel Gwambo and Dambi Gwambo, even if you search Gwambo, I'm the first Gwambo who will pop up on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's where you can actually find me, engage. I'm actually about to now go back to start writing again on LinkedIn, because I was, trying to understand how, as I've said, just restructuring and now getting into a stage where you're putting out companies. And also, we have something here. It's a book. So this book, this book was it was written out of my father had actually started writing a book, then he passed away, then Patricia took up the project. So unaona hii design ya cover vile nsupu sasa hizi ndo skills unaona walitumia. So this is a book that I have just started reading, and one thing I can say is, in as much as we are of the world, God pia ni mtu muhimu kwa hii maisha. Ongeza Mungu kidogo. Hata hii Bible hii ni yangu, wasikudanganye ni yao. Imagine I have such a big Bible. So this is our book. It's called The Audacity of Faith by Patricia and Reverend Caleb Gwambo. It's available order online and physical copies. In case you need a copy, you can reach out to me. For those who are my friends who are rooted in the faith and would like to read about this book. And even though you're not rooted in the faith, just add it to your collection, because it's not really like heavy like you think Bible, but it really has some good knowledge. And yeah, that's about it. And thank you for having me. I don't know if we are finished, but if we have, thank you for having me. I look forward to coming back more and speaking. Now, when we start the being a startup founder. So that journey also, because I feel that's something that we also need to talk a lot about, and help founders understand how to structure their money. It's a really important thing, because for me, I'm lucky I have mentors who are helping me. But imagine there are people out there who don't have mentors, and they want to understand how to start a business, how to finance that business, where is money, where can they get money. So those conversations also, I would be glad to come back and share that information with them.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Emmanuel. We are excited that we've started, and we know this will not be the. I am so sure, knowing the audience behind this camera, I will be told we want Emmanuel to come back. So let's put it in God's hands.
Top
God
shot.
bless you.
Sema top shot. Top shot. Shot.
God bless you. It's Ahawo. See you next time.
Shalom.